Welcome to the program. Day 2 of the review, starting with number 19. We have a point that's given on a graph, and we must remind you that this is the x-axis and this is the y-axis. Y-axis is vertical, x-axis is horizontal. We have a point named G that's plotted at the coordinates, and the coordinates are, if this is the x-axis here, the horizontal, 2, -1. They also ask for the quadrant, and this is review. We've studied this, you know this. Where the quadrant where everything is positive is quadrant 1. The quadrant where the y is positive but the x is negative is quadrant 2. The quadrant where everything is negative is 3. And the quadrant where x is positive but y is negative is quadrant 4. So we're looking for 2, -1 with quadrant 4. So the correct answer here is D. Now, if we go to number 20, we've done this before. This is review. It's given a relation, which is nothing but a group of ordered pairs. 3, 1. That's one ordered pair. 2, -5. 2, 4, and 3, 3. And we got some squigglies out here. That just means it's all together, right? And the first thing we have is the graph, okay? So you got to be able to graph. You got to be able to say, well, how do I graph 3, 1? How do I graph 2, -5? How do I graph 2, 4? Right? You have to know that. The other thing is the mapping, okay? And so let's do a little bit of review of the mapping, because it's been a while. This is first marking period stuff. How many different x's are there in the relation? There's only 2. There's when x is 2 and when x is 3. Now there's 2 different outputs for when x is 2. One is a +4. The other one is a -5, right? And actually, let's do it in increasing order. So the outputs, the y's, that's what goes in the other circle, okay? So we're going to say 1, 4, 3, -5. That's how they did it. So when excuse me, when x is -5, when x is 2, the output is -5, but also when x is 2, the output is 4. So we've mapped all the possible y values for 2. You have to map all the possible y values for 3, which are +3 or 1. So domain and range, the D is the list of the x's. There's only 2 x's, 2 and 3. And the range is the list of the y's. The list of the y's are in increasing order would be -5, then 1, then 3, then 4. I'm just listing out the y's. So this happens to be choice A. Okay, so that's 20. 21. We have ordered pairs for 21. So 21 is exactly the same. You have to know how to graph, and you have to know how to map the ordered pairs, and you have to know how to map out the domain and range. That the only thing that's different is they give you a chart this time, so you don't have to do the set graph for -1. So the only difference here is you have to be able to go from this to the table. So this is X, this is Y. Okay. When X is 4, Y is 0. When X is 3, Y is 2. When X is 3, Y is 3, Y is 0. When X is -3, this is -2, this is 4, this is -1. So, if we map it out correctly, and we also do domain and range, domain being the list of all the x's, -3, then +3, then 4. And again, with the range, we have -2, -1, 0, and 2. That one corresponds with choice C. Okay, so you just have to take the ordered pairs and represent them in 3 different forms. Okay, let's move on. 22. Graph. All right, the whole test is multiple choice, but you do have to know how to graph. So in this problem, right, we have slope and y-intercept, slope-intercept form. The slope is decreasing by 5. For every x that we go over, we go down 5. So this, I'm going to say in parentheses, down 5. And the y-intercept will touch y-axis at 1. Okay? So without doing the chart, right, we know that it's going to touch the y-axis at 1. That's how I start it. That's how I start the graph, with the 1 dot at y equals 1. This is a -5 slope, so that means I go down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I go to the right 1 unit, and then I can make the graph. So it's a very steep decreasing line for 22. So which one has, if you look at the 4 choices, the very steep decreasing line with a y-intercept of 1, and then another one at 5. C and D look identical. So I will make sure on the test it does not look identical. We're going to go, they look the same, but we'll go with D. All right, 23. Let's do 23 right quick. You're given, this will be the last one for this video, -4x plus 2y equals 5. So when you get this problem and you're trying to figure out which of the 4 graphs, do not guess. Solve for y. Add 4x to both sides. Now we have 2y equals 4x plus 5. Divide both sides by 2. Y equals 2x plus 5 over 2. This is the slope increasing because it's positive. Slope of 2. This is where it will hit the y-axis, touches y-axis at 2.5, right? 2.5. So now we can sketch the graph. Okay? There's my x-axis, this is the y-axis. 2.5 would be like 1, 2, 3, it would be like somewhere like there. An increasing of 2. So if I go, so if this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5. If I go up 2 units, that's 1. Let's do that again. 1, 2. Then I go to the right 1 unit like that. So we're looking at an increasing slope like that. And that has to be choice C. So this is a little bit better problem. Thank you for watching.